Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football, a shock transfer move to start the week off as we talk about the return of Jordan Henderson to the Premier League. And it's not just a transfer deal, is it? There's a lot more to it, and I can't wait to read the comments on this. Where do you stand? Where should he go? Chelsea, Newcastle, Fulham, Crystal Palace, all interested in bringing Jordan Henderson back to the Premier League from Saudi, but there's a lot more to it than that. Controversy, of course, when he left Liverpool in the summer to go to the Saudi League. Apparently it wasn't for money. We'll talk about that in a moment, and we'll talk about what he could offer, because I've got to be fair, on a total footballing level, 33-year-old Jordan Henderson would improve some Premier League sides. On a purely footballing sense, there is a ridicule to do in relation to his decisions off the field, but as a footballer, I think Jordan Henderson would improve some sides. Whether he's what Chelsea would be looking at or Newcastle as a former Sunderland player, get your comments in on that. But the big winner, before we get into the politics and the ridicule, the big winner here is Liverpool. I've said many times that Jurgen Klopp has to be considered as manager of the season simply because of where Liverpool are, up there with Ange and Emery for me, but also because he just revolutionised that midfield and went from a tired old midfield to a revolutionised, energetic, multi-optional midfield, and it's benefited them. So as Henderson, moans about his bank balance but moans about coming back to England, Liverpool can look at this and go, we got a good transfer fee for somebody who was past it. We certainly don't want him back, and if they do get a transfer fee for him, they'll get a percentage as well. So Liverpool win-win-win really here. On to Jordan Henderson though. I mean, I've got to say, what we're talking about here is a player in the January transfer window and where he could go, and you can get your comments in on that. But what do you genuinely think about Jordan Henderson wanting to leave the Saudi League after 5-6 months? Where do you stand on that? And I think you have to go back to where we were back. Well, look, the Athletic have confirmed that Henderson is looking for an escape route, as he's got a sense of delusionment, and it's deepened considerably. He wants to cut his Saudi Arabian experience short and find a new club while the transfer window is open this month. But then you go back to what he said in that interview when he first went over there, because questions were asked about things he'd represented in the past that maybe conflicted with a move to Saudi Arabia, that it was about the money. And he basically had a few things to say about that he didn't feel he was wanted at Liverpool, which I think is fine on Liverpool's part, and that he wanted to respect the religion and culture of Saudi whilst also maintaining his beliefs. And he wanted to go over there and make positive change, and that it wasn't money motivated. And I think, look, Jordan Henderson's not committed a crime here. Some footballers have been accused of all sorts of stuff and rebuilt their careers. Jordan Henderson is just a subject of ridicule here. That's very different to, doing something criminal. He when he played for England, I think some people booed. But it's from a point of ridicule. Banter, maybe, but ridicule. Because this is a guy who said he didn't go to Saudi Arabia for the money when he quite clearly did. And I think I said this in the summer. I've got no problem with footballers who want to go and play in the Saudi League. Amazing money, exciting opportunity, some might say. But you're turning your back on competitive football to go and play in a league that is literally building itself. And I've got no problem with the Saudi League are doing, with people like Ronaldo and Benzema, etc., and Kante. They are buying players to, fast track the ambition they've got for their league. And there is no problem with doing that at all. The problem is when you get, and I think the Saudi League would agree with me on this, the problem is when you get Jordan Henderson saying that he's not doing it for the money, and he's going over there to make positive change, and then 4 or 5, 6 months later, he's basically slagging the league off, saying he's disillusioned. He's basically shit on both doorsteps, and then he's in a halfway house where he's sort of like looking for sympathy, whatever. He's got to do what's best for him and his family. And if he can't play there and live there, he's got to come home. But you have to then be open to the fact that people are going to say, told you so, you look a complete prat. Of course he went for the money. He went for the money. If he was being offered, some people have said 700k a week, some people are saying it's 400k a week. Whatever it is, it will be tax-free as well if he stays there for a certain period of time. But if he'd have been offered If Everton had offered him 120 grand a week and the Saudi League had offered him 100 grand a week, there ain't no way he's going to the Saudi League. So of course it's about money. And I think that's the mistake that Henderson made. He tried to be, you know, morally grounded about, I'm not going there for the money, when everyone knows you're going there for the money. And actually, I'd have respected him. I would have respected him a lot more if he'd said, I am going there for the money because it's life-changing money. The same reason Gerrard's managing over there. Like, there is an opportunity. It could turn into something really exciting and you could be a founder of that league. But you are going there for the money because ultimately you wouldn't do it unless there was a financial reason to do it. The Saudi League's very open about that. Come to the Saudi League, help us build something and we'll pay you handsomely. That's their motto. No problem with that. With Jordan Henderson, no, I'm going to the Saudi League to create positive change and I'm not doing it for money. And then 5 or 6 months later, I'm disillusioned, I don't like it here, I want to come back. I mean, I feel for the Saudi League because I'd be mightily pissed off because they're trying to promote positivity and change and something fresh. They've taken a player who's come to that league and then gone, I don't like it, which damages their brand. So he's sort of... I don't know Jordan Henderson. I don't know what he's like. I don't know whether he's been advised badly. I don't know whether he wants to stay and the family wants to come back. I don't know what's going on there, but he has ridiculed himself massively. And ultimately, he's got to do what's best for him. And if he does come back and play for Fulham, then I think he'll do a good job for Fulham or Crystal Palace or whoever else. But he'll have to put up with a bit of stick. But his bank account will probably be quite good for that. But I also think as well in life, if you commit to do something, and it's something with big ramifications like that, then you should do your homework. I mean, I think some people in life, they just get offered a load of money and they go, that's what I'm going to do. And that you know, money should not be your motivator if there are big red flags. And it's a big thing to go from Liverpool to Saudi Arabia. It's a big thing to do that. The thing is, one other thing as well with Henderson, he's kept his England place. I mean, he never should have kept his England place. So it's all right saying he's disillusioned in Saudi, but he's kept his England place, which he never should have done. And he's been paid massive amounts of money. I mean, it's not a prison sentence, is it? He's gone over there, paid ridiculous money. He's kept his England place and he's still not happy about it. Look, from a footballing point of view, I think he can offer somebody something, but, you know, he's made a right prat of himself and he's just going to have to own it. And I think honesty is sometimes always, but really in this case, it's the best option. I think if he does end up coming back, he's got to respect the Saudi League. So, you know, don't come back moaning about it was horrible, I hated it. He's got to own the mistake. He's got to say, look, what they're doing in Saudi Arabia is amazing. I went over there and I basically realised that I still think I've got something to offer at the top level. And I was desperate to get back into the Premier League and prove that to myself because you get one career. And I was willing to take the pay cut and everything to get back. That's the angle. You know, I made a mistake. I thought I was coming towards the end of my career. You know, I wanted to make some decent money in an exciting new league. And I did go for the money. But actually, I think I've got a lot more to offer and I want to prove that to myself. And I'm coming back. He's probably going to have to take a pay cut to do that. But he's got to respect the people involved. He's got to respect himself, of course. But he's got to respect the fans. He's got to respect the Saudi League that he plays for. But I'm interested to see your comments on this because I think his interview was such bollocks back in September about positive change and it's not about the money. And we all knew it was. And he's just got to... Ultimately, we're talking about somebody we don't really know. He's got to do what's best for him, of course. But if you live in the public eye and you put public comments out there and you contradict yourself and ridicule yourself, then of course you're going to get spoken about. On a footballing sense, I think he can do a good job for somebody. But I think it's been damaging to the Saudi League. I think it's damaging to him. And I think he has to just own up and say, look, I've gone somewhere because I thought it was going to be exciting and earn good money. And actually, I still think I can play at the highest level. But I still think, as I said, Liverpool have been the big winner in this. They got good money for him and they've moved on. What Jordan Henderson does here is maybe he's trying to save his England place. I don't know. To be honest, I don't think it would matter if Jordan Henderson went and played in a pub league in Australia. He'd probably still get picked by Southgate. But it'd be very interesting because he signed the contract and it's going to cost people money to get him out. And if I was taking Jordan Henderson, I'd want to give him 100 grand a week and I'd want him on free. By the sounds of it, you've got to cover his full wages and give the Saudi Arabian club a transfer fee, which makes it very different. So financially, this is probably going to cost Henderson quite a lot. So watch this space. Get your comments in below. Smash a like on the video. and I'll speak to you on the next one.